The Tyranids are a highly evolved hive mind swarm species that exists solely to consume and absorb the biomass of other organisms. They travel in massive hive fleets composed of bioships, which are drawn to populated worlds by psychic signals or were directed by the hive mind itself. It is believed that the Tyranids originated from beyond the galaxy and are now advancing through intergalactic space into the galaxy, the Milky Way, leaving devastation in their wake. Under the control of the hive mind, which is itself a collective consciousness that directs and coordinates the actions of all other bioforms, the hive mind ensures a seamless coordination of the Tyranid forces, making them incredibly efficient and adaptable on the battlefield, and its invasions of worlds are often fast and effective, giving rise to a set of phases or stages that it has perfected over hundreds of years. While the codex Tyranids have stated 3 stages, which are only invasion, predation, and consumption, we here are going to go in deeper and will showcase 9 distinct different stages of a Tyranid devastation. So let's get to it. Firstly, the Genestealer Infiltration. The Genestealers are bioforms designed for infiltration and subversion. They possess a unique ability to infiltrate other species, specifically humans, using their genetic manipulation and psychic abilities. The process begins with a Genestealer infecting a host, typically a human, by implanting its genetic material within them, like xenomorphs. The infected host becomes a Genestealer hybrid, a hybrid creature bearing both human and Genestealer traits. The infiltration then begins with the pure strain Genestealer spreading throughout the target population, usually in secret. They manipulate and influence the infected individuals, bending them to their will and the will of the hive mind. The Genestealers create cults and secret societies, operating in the shadows and working towards the ultimate goal of preparing the way for a Tyranid invasion. Genestealer infiltrations are characterized by their subtlety and secrecy. Once the Genestealer cult has achieved sufficient control and prepared the way, they will reveal themselves and instigate a full-scale uprising. The Genestealer cult will then summon the Tyranid fleet, paving the way for the Tyranids to launch a devastating invasion. Second stage, the Shadow in the Warp and Isolation. When a Tyranid hive fleet approaches a planet, it emits powerful psychic energies that create a psychic interference known as a shadow in the warp, which is basically like a static in the warp. This phenomenon serves as a powerful weapon for the Tyranids. It disrupts the psychic abilities of the planet's defenders, cutting off their communications and support networks, meaning the astropaths cannot send out distress signals for help. It also causes increased turbulence and instability within the warp, making warp travel almost impossible. It also creates an atmosphere of fear and panic, making it easier for the Tyranids to sow chaos and confusion among the population, mainly by the Genestealer cults. The shadow in the warp is one of the many terrifying aspects of a Tyranid threat, further emphasizing the destructive capabilities of this alien species. When this happens, it means that the hive fleet is en route to the planet and is ready for an attack. And as a human there in the planet, you won't know a thing. Number 3. Mycetic Spores Infestation. The mycetic spores are organic living vessels resembling large bulbous spots or spore sacs. They are capable of atmospheric entry from orbit and descend down to the Earth, allowing them to drop from orbit to the planet's surface. These spores are often released in large numbers, forming a swarm that rains down on a targeted area. The purpose of a mycetic spore infestation is to rapidly deploy Tyranid organisms directly into the heart of the enemy territory, bypassing conventional defenses and establishing a foothold for the Tyranid invasion. By dropping spores en masse, the Tyranids can quickly overwhelm the defenders and disrupt their formations. Mycetic spore infestations are particularly terrifying because they can strike from seemingly out of nowhere, as the spores descend from orbit undetected until it's too late. But this isn't the main invasion force. This initial descent, the mycetic spores infestation, is meant for establishing a foothold for the next stages. Lictors, their scouting and reconnaissance. From the previous stage comes the Lictors, which are specialized bioforms designed for stealth, infiltration and reconnaissance. They serve as advanced scouts, operating ahead of the main hive fleet, and their actions are integral to the success of a Tyranid invasion. Before a Tyranid invasion, they are deployed to infiltrate the targeted planet's surface. They blend into the environment, remain hidden from the enemy's forces, while gathering vital intelligence about the planet's defenses, terrain, population centers, military installations, and potential threats. They eliminate key individuals, sabotage communications or power systems, and sow confusion among the enemy ranks, working hand in hand with the Genestealer cults, assisting them in spreading their influence and preparing the way for a larger Tyranid force. They also locate areas with minimal resistance, favorable terrain for the Tyranid organisms to deploy and establish footholds, and also strategic positions. Number 5. The Initial Wave. Also known as the Vanguard Swarm, the primary objective of the Initial Wave is to establish a foothold, to overrun key strategic locations and weaken the planet's defenses. By deploying a combination of frontline troops, infiltrators, disruptors, and artillery organisms, the Tyranids aim to quickly overwhelm and destabilize the enemy forces. This creates an environment conducive to further Tyranid incursions and the consumption of the planet's biomass by the advancing hive fleet. During this stage, the uprising from the Genestealer cults reaches their peak, draining military resources from the main invasion force. The Lictors would also increase their recon and assassination actions. But the most horrifying spectacular event is the sky turning dark with the advent of the main landing force, a massive contingent of millions of Mycetic spores, releasing millions of Gorns, Ravener brutes, biovores, and lesser militant bioforms. Number 6. The Successive Waves and Subjugation. The successive waves of Tyranids serve to escalate the intensity of the invasion. They overwhelm the enemy with increasingly powerful and specialized organisms, systematically dismantling defenses and consuming the planet's resources. Each wave reinforces and expands the Tyranid presence, pushing deeper into the enemy territory and ensuring the ultimate assimilation of the planet's biomass into the hive fleet. These successive waves are relentless, growing in size and ferocity with every successive wave. They include the release of warrior bioforms, which are larger and more deadly than the Gorns of the initial wave. Warrior brutes serve as versatile commanders, capable of engaging enemies in both range and close combat. Larger bioforms like the Carnifexes, the Biotitans, and even Psychers like Neurothropes and Zoanthropes begin to emerge. And if the planet is heavily defended, like a Forge World or a Hive World, then the Hive Tyrant or even a Swarm Lord would be deployed, thus sealing the deal. Number 7. Ripper Swarm Consumption. These swarms of tiny creatures resembling voracious locusts are highly effective at consuming organic material and fulfilling important functions during an invasion. Ripper swarms make up for their small size by sheer numbers and their ability to fulfill specialized roles in a Tyranid invasion. Their consumption of biomass, scouting abilities, diversionary tactics, and hindering enemy movement all contribute to the overall success of the Tyranid force. They are an integral part of the Tyranid ecosystem, ensuring that no resource is wasted and that the invasion force remains efficient and relentless. Ripper swarms act as biorecyclers, efficiently breaking down organic material into its basic components. These components are then absorbed by the Tyranid hive mind and utilized to replenish and grow Tyranid organisms, further refueling the invasion. They strip the battlefield clean, ensuring that no usable biomass is wasted. Number 8. Planetary Terraforming. So, after an invasion or during an invasion, the Hive Fleet engages in a process known as planetary assimilation or bioterraforming. This involves reshaping the conquered planet, which is essentially stripping the planet bare of every available resource. They consume all available organic material on the planet, including oceans, water, and essential minerals. This biomass is broken down and absorbed, providing sustenance for the Tyranid organisms and fueling their growth. They also incorporate the genetic material of the conquered planet's life forms into their gene pool, extracting and assimilating desirable genetic traits, adaptations, and evolutionary advancements found on the planet's species. The most horrifying scene is the appearance of capillary towers that reach into outer space. Where they grow, reclamation pools then start to appear. The towers are linked to them via underground routes. Later, the towers link up with the sucking proboscis feeding tubes of the hive ships, which are in low orbit, which then pump the biomass upwards and distribute it to the waiting bioships. Number 9. Biomass Extraction and Moving On. After the invasion, the process of biomass extraction plays a vital role in the sustenance of the Nids and fueling their growth. The Tyranids meticulously extract and consume organic material from the conquered planet, ensuring that no resource goes to waste. After many different forms of the Tyranids finishes their specific duties of turning every available resource into biomass, this is then pumped up the capillary towers into the bioships, where each ship absorb what they can and fly away into the void. This means that the dead Tyranid forces on the planet are not really a net loss if the invasion is successful. Their biomass is then reabsorbed, and the same goes to most of the remaining army. Their fate is re-assimilation into the fleet. In certain situations, the Tyranids may enter a state of organic recycling and hibernation. This occurs when the planet's resources are temporarily exhausted or when the hive fleet decides to redirect its forces elsewhere. The Nids here enter a dormant state, preserving their biomass and conserving energy until new opportunities for expansion arise, such as the way of the Nids. Theirs is a cosmic predation cycle. So, I see that many of you haven't subscribed yet. It would be very helpful for us, if you would only smash that red button, the subscribe button, and also like the video to push us through in the YouTube algorithm, whatever that is. And while you're at it, bang on that bell icon as well for notifications. Till the next time, take care, boys.